Today on the DIY Writer Podcast, we have an author who wrote Murder in the Houston High Rise, the Donahue Brothers of Texas, Book 3. She also runs an anthology, a bunch of short stories, and that one's named Halloween 2020, a short story anthology. And she also has a short story in the Black Cat Crossing. I almost said crack, sorry. A collection of 11 cozy mysteries to celebrate Halloween. I would like to introduce my good friend, Michelle Francik. Michelle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
That's
And
awesome. So am I.
yes, this is fun. Thank you. Thanks for
So
inviting me.
what can you tell us about your books? I mean, you do a lot. You run. I know that I was a part of 2 of your anthologies. Were those your first 2 anthologies that you did
Yes.
on your own? Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I just didn't know if you had done anything. And by the way, she edited my story, thank God, because it was horrible before I gave it to her, and she made it just sing.
That's
And
not
then,
true.
well, yeah. And then we have this Black Cat Crossing, 11 Cozy Mysteries. And you wrote a short story for that also.
I wrote a novella in that.
A
Yes.
novella. Okay, cool. So you are kind of an interesting hybrid of indie author and also a published author. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Um, yeah, I started writing and just a few years ago, uh, decided to take the leap, took a
Mhm.
class, all this stuff, and got in with this group, and it just wasn't what I wanted. So I decided I was going to do it on my own because I'm ornery that way. So I started writing some of my own stories. And in the process, I ran across one of my authors. She had posted, one of the authors I like, she had posted about her publisher.
Mhm.
And so I submitted a sample to that publisher and I was accepted.
Cool.
And so that's when I started working with Sweet Promise Press.
Mhm.
And they offered me a contract for the first book, which was the first one in the Donahue Brothers of Texas series, which is my sub-series of the Texas Size Mysteries.
Okay.
And that was Murder in a Pinch of Rosemary. And then
Wow.
that one did pretty well. So I wrote a second one, and then I wrote a third one, and then they offered me a new series. So, but doing all of that is great. I love it. But I wanted to do something else because I know that people had to encourage me to write. I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I was very good. And so I wanted to do some challenges. And that's
Mhm.
where the anthologies come in because I run a challenge. Most of them are for 2 weeks, give people prompts and support and stuff, encourage them to write. And then we publish the anthology. And yeah, and I have seen people blossom. It has been so much fun.
So you're a published author and you're also an indie author. So like I
Yes.
said, kind of that hybrid. So what do you think? Which is easier, publishing through a publisher or being an indie author and doing it all yourself?
The publisher I love because she pays for the marketing.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know how to do, I'm learning to do marketing, but I am a big chicken as far as spending a bunch of money on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I like when I have control over my own project. I like because then if I can't sleep, I can get up and work on it. If I get it done early, I can publish it early. I don't have to worry about other people because right now I've got 2 books that have been written. They were written back in July and they won't be published until January
Oh, sure.
through my publisher because they just don't have the openings.
Right.
But see, I do the anthology in what, less than a month from
Yep.
the time the challenge starts until the book is published.
Yeah,
So to me, that's a lot more fun.
that's one thing that I see on the different Facebook groups and some of the blogs and stuff of authors who have written a book and they're currently submitting it to publishers.
Yeah.
That I don't think based on the amount of frustration that they at least they're voicing in their writing. Like, oh my God, I got rejected for the 42nd time. You know, I'm horrible. The world's ending and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, they have a schedule, and they only book so many books a year, and they only do so many things a year, and you know, they may only publish in certain genres in certain years, you know, just depending on what's
Yeah.
hot and what's not, you know. It seems like if you have a fitness book, they publish those quite quickly, or you know, something on yoga or something like that, because those are out. There's a bunch of them out there.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
That's true.
especially with the lockdown, you know, learn yoga in 30 days or whatever. But you know, fiction is kind of a gamble for a lot of publishers, and so, you know, they might sparingly let them in, and then you're competing against everybody else who wants that spot, and your timing might be off, or you know, you might not be a fit for that particular publisher for what their goals are for the year or two or whatever, and so on and so forth. And that's one of the things I like about indie writing, is that yeah, I have to pay for the advertising, I have to, you know, pay for the editing, and you know, I pick up my own covers and everything else, but on the other hand, I'm in control. So when I'm really late for a book, I can only yell at myself, you know,
Yeah.
and it's really how much time I need to put into it, or can put into it, to get it, and I don't have anybody else yelling at me, unless of course I'm in a Halloween challenge with Michelle Francik, and then you
Hmm.
know, it's the are you gonna get your story in? Yes, Michelle, I'm getting it in. It's all written, I just have to, never mind, you
That is
know.
not true. You had it turned in.
Yeah, it was kind of the 11th hour.
That's okay. As long
It
as it's in
was,
by the deadline.
well, you know, what was funny was we went back to South Dakota to visit my wife's in-laws,
Mhm.
and or my wife's in-laws, my in-laws, my wife's parents. Yeah, better get that straight. Sorry, guys. And I actually wrote it in their bedroom. I need a quiet place to write, and so I hurried up and wrote it. I had an idea, but you know, it was just a short story, so I just like whipped it out, like "Ah, da, 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 da." And I think you had it edited within 12 hours. I mean, it was like, oh, cool, this looks good. Okay, boom, done. You know, and that's the amount of effort I put into it. Sorry. Um,
I'm offended now because I think I put more effort into it
I
than
think
you.
you did too. That's sorry. We'll just edit that part out. No, we won't. Never mind. I'm just,
Oh,
yeah, no. Um, so this year I wasn't a part of your anthology, but how did the Halloween 2020 go?
really, really well. It's mostly the same people still.
Yeah.
We've had trouble getting more people interested. I think because of COVID and stuff. I have more people sign up, but then they just don't have their heart's not in it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just really hard to be creative right now. There are too many stressors
Yep.
for everybody. Um, and then some of the people, were in it last year, and some of them have done, they did the Christmas anthology, and then we did love letters for Valentine's Day, and then we did a spring fever in the springtime for COVID. We didn't know it was going to continue on as long as it has.
Yeah.
So we did a spring fever one. And in the Halloween one, it's most of the same people that have been going along. And like I said, the cool thing is that there were some people last year that had never written anything at all. And they were in the Halloween anthology.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first time they'd ever had anyone read their work. Um, First time they'd ever been published. And now, if you read this Halloween anthology, you will see how they've grown.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just amazing to me. And it's so much fun. It's a lot of work for me. It's exhausting,
Yeah.
but it's just amazing to me. And then the variety of stories, as you know, we have everything, everything from like fairies and elves and, well, not elves, but, really lighthearted to really, really
Mm-hmm.
intense stories. And I love that. I don't want to put like a lot of rules and things like that.
Yeah.
I want people to just be free to express what they feel. And this time, it's Halloween 2020. This is a weird year. None of
Right.
us expected any of this, and nothing's normal. So I think all of the stories and poems kind of reflect that. There's an edge to them.
Sure.
So, but we have some really creepy ones. We have
Cool.
some, yeah, Ichabod.
He does a
Goodbye.
good job. Yeah, I remember him from
Yeah.
last time I was in it.
Yeah, he made something really scary, and then there was someone else, I want to say C.O. Bonham did one that was really scary, and I kind of wrote a counter to hers because, yeah, you'll just have to read it. You have to buy it
I'll have to buy it and read
because
it.
it's out now.
Oh, cool.
Halloween 2020.
On Amazon, right?
Yes,
On the mighty Zon, Amazon.
Kindle and paperback.
Cool beans. Cool beans. Now, tell me about your novella in the Black Cat Crossing.
Oh, I like Black Crack, though. That just
Yeah.
cracks me up when you say that.
Oh, you blew it. You weren't supposed to say that on the air. Oh my God.
I said it. Too bad, so
Oh,
sad.
oh
Um,
no.
no, I love this story. Okay.
Yeah.
I was offered a series of my own from my publisher. And I had come up with this idea for this woman, Pixie, who's a witch. She bakes peach pies. There's a whole background to that. But anyway, and then she makes these mistakes. She kind of enchants them. And then something always goes wrong.
Okay.
And so I wanted to do kind of like a Scooby-Doo kind of feel silly, kind of, lighthearted. And then my publisher said, "Oh, I have these covers, and every time I look at them, I think of you." And so I looked at them, and they're really pretty, and I like them. And they have cool names like A Get Witch Quick Scheme and Filthy Stinking Witch and Poor Little Witch Girl. And then
Oh.
there's a fourth one that I can't think of the name of right now. But so she asked me to write that series. So I said, okay, I have to write a series off of these covers. So that's where my Bewitching the Rich Guy came in. And I did a whole unique premise on that, if it's okay if I talk about that for a second,
Yeah,
because
go
it
ahead.
leads into, okay.
Knock yourself out.
So this is a series of four books
Yeah.
that it's about four witches that are friends. They call themselves the Four Rich Witches.
Okay.
And each book covers the same time period, the same events, but told from a different perspective. Because I was reading something, and the main character was saying how they were talking about an expression that one of the other characters made. And they're like, "Oh, this person's thinking this, that, whatever." And I thought, well, I wonder what that person really is thinking. You know, they're grimacing, but maybe they're not, like, because they don't like what the person's saying. Maybe they're thinking about something else. Who knows? So I went into this series with that premise. So each book, the book starts with Stella, the first book, A Get Witch Quick Scheme. It's her story. And she has her friends come, the other three, join a dating reality show. And
Okay.
so you can imagine things that go wrong.
Mhm.
And basically, it's held in a mansion that was stolen from her family. It used to be her family home. And so she wants to find out what really happened. So
Okay.
they're going to go in there and they're going to investigate undercover of doing this reality show. So it tells her story. You get to the end, you don't find out exactly what happens. And then in the next story, it's the same series of events, but told from Fiona's perspective. So you get to know more about the character Fiona, who is her best friend. And you get to see all of the events happen from Fiona's point of view, which is going to be totally different than Stella's because each of us are different.
Mhm.
And so each book goes like that from a different character's point of view. And then you get to see all the different things that happen from a different point of view. And
Sure.
I'm probably not making it sound very interesting, but it really is. It was really fun to write because you never know what anyone else is thinking.
No.
And a lot of times we make assumptions and we're totally wrong, you know?
And I assume these are cozies, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
these are cozies.
So what is a cozy? Just for the audience, so they know.
It is, if you want a hard-boiled mystery, that's not a cozy. A
Okay.
cozy is more about the characters, it's more about the journey, it's more about the world, it's more about the community. And so each story has a unique twist to it. It has a mystery. It could be a murder mystery, it could be anything. But it's more about the journey of how they get to the end of how they
How long
find
are
out.
they? Are they like a regular novel, or are they a little bit shorter?
These ones are around 50,000
Okay.
words. Yeah, my Texas size mysteries are more around 25,000. Those are
Okay.
cozies as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Not that it
It's
matters.
about
I
the
don't think anybody else except for authors know what a novella versus a novel versus a, you know, what I call
true.
the wrath of God when it turns into like a 200,000 word project,
Yes.
and you're like, oh my God.
Yes.
Or as
So
a friend of mine said on an earlier podcast, a beefy little book. But anyway.
that's funny. But anyway, back to Black Cat Crossing. So that Stella from A Get Witch Quick Scheme is the main character in my novella,
Mhm.
Bewitching Henry, in this collection. But it also includes Pixie and her crew. And Pixie, like I said, is a witch, and she has a vampire accountant, and she has a talking cat. And so
Of course.
she's the series that I'm working on writing right now. That was the series I originally started, and then my publisher asked me to do the witch series. So now I've combined two series, and so this is a really fun story about a little kitten who almost gets run over by Stella, and then she's like, "Oh my goodness, I don't know what happened to this cat. He's scared, something's wrong." So she takes him over to Pixie's, and they talk to Henry, who's a talking cat. So Henry can talk to the kitten and then tell them what the kitten says.
Sure.
So the kitten's little boy, little human, is lost in the woods and hurt. And so the whole gang gets together and they go searching for him. So it's just a fun, silly little story.
So you
And
just need a big brown Great Dane in there, and it is a Scooby Doo.
I know it really is. It's really fun. It's really fun.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the books I write are not great fiction. I'll tell you that. They are not great fiction, but they are fun and they get you out of your head and they get you
Wait a
into,
minute. Wait a minute. What do you mean by that? Not great fiction.
I mean, like it's not Shakespeare. It's not like, beautifully, perfectly well written with everything done right.
Oh hell.
They're fun.
Shakespeare. God.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
I know.
I'm a big fan of Henry V, but on the other hand, some literary genius in college is going, how dare he?
Yes, I know.
Whatever. But, as far as the literary giants of now, at the time, they weren't all that good.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true.
A lot of them starved to death before their stuff was published.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
No, not really. We want to flourish. But so we're kind of getting into the personal side of Michelle Francik. Uh-oh. Here come the really weird questions. We had talked a little bit about this, but it seems like every time I read a bio or some sort of an announcement from you, it starts with woohoo.
Yep.
What's that all about?
I just get enthusiastic. I get excited about things, and
yeah,
I really do. There's a lot of exclamation points too. I get in trouble for that, but that's really me. That's how I am.
Do you use exclamation points in your writing?
I do. I don't care.
Okay.
Like I said, not literary, whatever. But you've seen my emails and stuff. Yes, there's tons of exclamation points.
I just thought you were yelling at me when it's all in caps and exclamation points and everything, but no, it's okay.
I don't do a lot of all caps.
Oh, you don't? I'm
no,
thinking
I
somebody
just
else.
like 5 or 6 exclamation points because I get excited.
What?
And then I say, woohoo. Yeah, when I was the manager of a tax office, I would go into the back room to do the meetings over the phone with the other managers. And whenever they would announce that an office was doing well or whatever, I would be back there going, woohoo. And my team would come back and go, are you okay? What's happening? I'm like, I'm supporting these people. It's very exciting. They did well. They brought their sales up, whatever. Someone just had a baby. I'm like, woohoo.
Well, I think that enthusiasm is important to kind of notate as far as let's go back to your challenge, your Halloween challenges and your love letter challenges, which I didn't do because I can't write a love letter.
Well, you missed the point, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, love. Okay, yeah, that's not a chapter in my book. No, just kidding.
But you have met the other writers, or I mean, you've written, so that some of them weren't.
I know. I'm just being cheeky.
Yes,
Um,
you are.
no, kind of. But you know, the one point I want to bring back to is I know a lot of authors who are just starting out and they're like, I don't have time for a short story because I'm writing my book. You know, and you
Hmm.
kind of talk to them. It's like, okay, number one, you have to take breaks, but you have to keep on writing. Otherwise you don't get better.
Yep.
I don't care how many books you have out. You could have 50, 60 books out and you still, you know, as an author, you're going, okay, I still suck, but I can get better. I can get better, you know, and no matter how good and how many accolades you got, even James Patterson goes, well, you know, I don't suck as much as I used to, you know, but he said that in a master class. And I'm like, wow, he can have that attitude and he's him. You know,
Yeah.
he sells like a book every 18 seconds, you know, it's like, okay. Yeah. um, so anyway, writing these short stories, and even though, um, you know, the other argument I guess, well, do I get paid for it? It's like, no. What you get is you get the opportunity to write a short story. Number one. Number two, you get the experience of writing something completely off the wall, out of your genre. You can do whatever you want. You know, you could be a horror writer and you could do erotica. Probably not erotica, but you know, you
Probably
could
not
do
erotica.
probably not. It's probably not going to match up with your cozy mysteries. Although it's kind of cozy over here in the erotica thing. No, anyway. Um, but it's one of those things that authors can do. It's an exercise and you can get your name out there and you get exposure in these anthologies to other readerships because everybody's got you know, a small, medium or large following. If you can get a combination of authors in there that promote it, you can actually get exposed to everybody else's readers, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. So, you know, I wouldn't ever sell those things short at all. Um, and you know, you're kind of fun to write with.
Thanks.
You really are. I mean, you run a good challenge. I enjoyed it both times I did it. So, you know, it was a little crazy, like you said. You get a little frantic at times, and you know you can feel that in the emails. Like, okay, are you done yet? He's like, no, I'm not. But you know,
I mean, like you said, you don't like the fast turnaround. You know, that's what you told me is you don't like the fast turnaround.
yeah, I lied. It depends on what it depends on what I'm doing. You
Okay.
know, realistically, my goal is to get faster and release more books,
Mhm.
and that was my goal for 2020, and I have failed to do it all. You know, which is part of the process, is part of the journey.
It
Failing,
is.
you know, or not quite getting up to where you want, or you know, missing a goal, and okay, I'll just have to reevaluate and reset. But
Mhm.
you know that I still have that. I still have crazy aspirations of just you know putting books out right and left, you know. But you know
Yeah,
they may be very very short, like you know 10,000 words. But just kidding,
that's
just kidding.
okay.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah. People
Not
should
for,
write. Just, I mean, the thing is, you know, all these people that are writing their big novel or whatever, a lot of times they're not writing. You know, they're
well,
not writing anything. And that's why I like these challenges because it gets you out of your head, it gets you unstuck,
mhm.
it gives you, like you said, it gives you something else to focus on for a minute. And I know that once I do these anthologies, once I do the challenge, you know, because I write in them too, and it does kind of rejuvenate me, you know?
Yeah.
And then you read the other people that had the same prompts as you, the same were in the same group as you, and you're like, "Oh wow, this is what they took from it." And it
Hmm.
just kind of broadens your mind a little bit and it gives you that energy to go on and say, "You know what? I'm going to go back to my story. I've got some more ideas. I'm going to make it even better." You know, and it's
And
just fun too.
that's one of the things I like about this podcast in talking to authors.
Hmm.
And I talk about this a few times. Is I'm in a group of authors who get together probably every, let's say 3, 4, 5 weeks, whatever, whenever we can get together, and we just do like this massive Zoom call. And it is a bunch of psychotic authors who write all sorts of different types of you know fiction, basically, or fantasy, I guess, fantasy. And it is just I mean, just a mosh of ideas, you know.
Hmm.
Hey, you know what? I bet you I could you know, I'm over here like, I think I can take a fork and have this guy like kill 3 people with it, you know,
That sounds like you.
yeah, kind of, I think you can do that all with the fork. What do you think? And then somebody else be like, no, 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 no. You need a full set of cutlery. You gotta be able to do it with a spoon too, I mean, just weird stuff like that. Or, what do you think about this opening scene? It's like, oh, I'm so gonna steal that. Go ahead, dude. I'm not gonna write it, that type of stuff. I mean, but that, you get 5, 6 authors on a Zoom call, and it's nuts the amount of creativity that come out, especially when you add in a few adult beverages or whatever, and that atmosphere turns very silly very quick. But at some point in time, it'd be kind of nice to broadcast one of those, but I don't think anybody'd ever read our books again and be like, holy cow, you all are psychotic. But the amount of research that you have to do for type of books I write, and most people, will leave your Google history kind of, something that the FBI might be interested in.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Even with cozies.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Is it the same with cozies?
Oh,
I mean, you're all kind of
oh, yeah.
snuggled in there, and
Oh yeah, depending on how, I mean, like a Pinch of Rosemary, she witnessed a murder and then was in WITSEC, and so I'm like trying to look up all these things, and you know, yeah,
good
how to get
old
blood
witness
stains out of
protection.
things, and
Yeah.
you just know, like, oops, yeah, I'm on somebody's list, I'm sure.
Cool.
Yeah, keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, yeah. It used to be the books you checked out the library. Now they're just going, oh, look, yeah. So Michelle looks like she's planning a poisoning. This is interesting, but you kind of have to know how this stuff works in order to write it realistically,
Hmm.
somewhat.
It's our excuse anyway, right?
It is a big excuse, and it will work in a court of law, I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
It,
I'll take your word for it.
I'm just guessing, I haven't talked to my lawyer yet, but just in case. You know, just kind of thinking about it, what if somebody's writing about terrorism? What do you
Oh
search
yeah.
then? I mean, seriously, incognito mode isn't going to save you, my friend. But anyway, I'm doing a lot of talking. My understanding is that you live in a really ugly part of the country. It sounds horrible. Where,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
nobody'd ever want to come here.
right, right. Tahoe, is that where you live?
South Lake Tahoe.
South Lake Tahoe. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's horrible. What's it like living up there by the old mountain? You're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, or what you got up there?
Mm, yeah, right now with COVID, pretty much all we have are tourists. But no, it's
Yeah.
wonderful. I opened the door the other morning. I have this routine with my cat. We get up in the morning, right, and we walk to the front door and we check the weather. Even in the summer, we'll open the door a little bit, and I open it just the part way, and he stands and peeks out. And
Mm-hmm.
I open the door the other morning, and there's this big bear walking down the street. And I was so thrilled because normally we see a lot of bears where we live.
Yeah.
The house, the backyard backs up to a forest,
Okay.
and so normally I see a lot of bears, and we haven't this year. Um, but yeah,
Well, they've been
bears,
quarantined.
raccoons, coyotes. Huh?
They've been quarantined.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they don't want to
But
catch
no,
anything from those nasty humans.
yes, I love it here, but we just have so many tourists right now, people coming up, and it's not okay because they're just trashing the place. I've never seen it like
Oh,
this. They leave their trash everywhere, and they don't wear masks, and they don't, wash their hands, and um, I don't like that.
yeah.
This is a special place, and it's beautiful, and the lake is gorgeous, and we have these beautiful forests and these animals. And if you're going to come up here, then be respectful.
I think my biggest pet peeve is when people can't pick their shit up.
Yeah,
You know, well, I mean,
yeah,
bring a bag, pick up your crap.
exactly.
Stop living like a pig. What?
Yep. And don't bring your stuff up here and drop it. We don't
No,
want it.
bring it up here, drink it, eat it, whatever, and then throw your crap away.
Take it out of here, put it in the garbage, whatever. But
Yeah.
just like the parking lots, you walk out in the parking lot at the grocery store, and there'll just be garbage everywhere. And it's like, why? There are trash cans all over.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
It's really hard to walk that 25 foot to a garbage can. It really
Apparently.
is. You've got so many things, going on in your life, and
Yeah. They can't walk 10 feet to the crosswalk either. They have to, cut across traffic, and yeah, they can't walk to the crosswalk. I don't get that one either. But
have you ever seen the game Frogger?
oh yeah. But you see, if you get me upset, you don't want to get me upset.
Oh,
Because
really?
one of these days,
What does
now
Mad Michelle look like? Come on.
you don't want to see that. But
Oh, I think everybody wants to see that now.
no, yes, no. The people who have seen it don't.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
But no,
no.
you remember Death Race 2000? Did you ever see
Yes.
Death? Yes, that's how I feel when people walk out in front of me without looking, and it's like,
Oh,
oh, and one of these days I may snap. So
a little bit of road rage going on here, huh?
just rage.
Just rage. Okay. Okay. So,
You should cut that part out.
I can't. I don't have the ability to cut that part out. Plus, it's
Uh-huh. Yeah,
just in case somebody needs it for a court of law,
exactly.
come to the DIY podcast and get all sorts of crap on all sorts of people all over the place. Yeah. Anyway. I don't know. Yeah. So, just kind of going back, quarantine and all of the stress and everything. Have you found that affects your writing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I finished book 2, 3, and 4 of the Witch series. And then I just wasn't happy with them.
Yeah.
And I just didn't, it just, I just couldn't find my voice. I couldn't find the character's voice. And I ended up finishing book 2, and that was published, I think, in August. And then I did 3 and 4 again, and then I went back and redid them. And there were other books that I wanted to write, things that I wanted to get done this summer. I had another anthology that we wanted to do, and I just couldn't do it. My heart just wasn't in it. I didn't have the energy, So it's been hard.
Okay.
Yeah. It's hard to be creative when when everything's so awful and confusing and stressful, and yeah.
I agree. My writing process is a little bit different than yours, I would guess. I find that when I'm mad, I write a lot better than when I'm not mad. But I write kind of violent books, but I also try and get myself in the mood using music. And so I'm not one of those people that can just sit there and write in total quiet. I need some sort of a music. So a little bit of Disturbed or AC/DC or something like that. And I really pick out my playlist depending on what scene I'm going to write. But I have to be in a certain mood to be able to actually sit down and produce something halfway decent.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, for some reason, it's been hard. But
It has been, but I am a person who has to write with it quiet. I like it quiet, but then I just disappear into it. I mean, I have a lot of pain and stuff, and sometimes when I'm just exhausted and in pain, that's the best time to write, because I can get lost in it. And then I don't feel any of the pain. I don't think about it or anything. I'm lost in the world that I'm creating. But I like it quiet. I like it really quiet. But when I listen to music, like my favorite band, believe it or not, is Korn. And then my favorite song
Korn.
right now, yes, I know. I know. Everybody says Korn is shit. I don't care. That it works for me.
No,
And
they're not shit.
everybody says that to me. But my
Really?
favorite song right now, yes. My favorite song right now, though, isn't a Korn song. It's Falling in Reverse, Popular Monster. Love it. Love it. You have to listen to it, Jen.
Falling in Reverse. I haven't heard that one.
It's Popular Monster is the title of this song. And it is about depression and about what it does to you and about how it feels. And it is so good. Yeah.
I have that noted. One thing that I do notice, and this is my own fault, is I subscribe to like YouTube Music,
Hmm.
and I build these playlists.
Hmm.
And depending on what kind of mood I'm in, I just, whether I'm driving or writing or whatever, I pop in that playlist. But
Hmm.
that's the other thing I notice, is that for the past year, I've listened to these playlists, and I haven't experienced anything new. So, I haven't even been listening to the radio, which
Yeah.
has been, and they usually, have something on there, all new release from, whoever.
Yep.
And I'm not catching that anymore. So I need to kind of go back and, you know,
Well, I listen to a lot of times I listen to Octane on Sirius when I'm driving, and so it seems like when I'm coming home from work is when they play the new ones. So I
yeah,
get to listen to, Disturbed is on there a lot. That's not necessarily a new one, but I mean,
it's
they
because
have
they're
a lot of
awesome.
music on there. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then that's where I heard the Popular Monster song, and there was another one.
I kind of want to give you crap about Corn just because you seem to
I
really
know,
like them.
I do.
But the problem is I like them.
Well, you know what? We've got that in common then.
Yeah. I mean, some of their stuff is playing to a crowd. I mean, I get that. They're making it.
Some of it.
Some of it is, but even like everybody's done that. I mean, Godsmack. I mean, everybody has produced an album that is kind of okay. This sounds a little bit different. Okay, it's still them, so I love them, but this one's not quite, the original stuff that you're doing. Hope you get back there.
Yeah.
And that's usually some swanky little executive someplace telling them how they should produce their music, and they're like, okay, the contract's good enough, and they're like, okay, we'll do it, we'll see what happens. But I really find myself struggling with nobody liking Corn. That must be a
Yeah.
California thing.
Really?
I Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, Corn's been out here in Wisconsin back in the day when we used to actually have concerts and stuff. But they're always kind of touring around here. You'd see them,
Yeah.
quite a bit. And I don't think there's anybody in my personal circle, except for my wife, who only likes country, that doesn't like Corn.
Oh yeah, anytime I tell anyone that, they look at me like, "Oh, you don't look like you like corn." And then they're like, "Well, corn is shit." That's what they say. I mean, literally, I've had probably at least 5 or 6 people say corn is shit. Those exact
Huh.
words. It's like,
Huh.
no, they're not.
I'm I'm
So,
I'm astounded.
yeah.
Wow. I actually interviewed a therapist who wrote a book here last week, and maybe she can do a group session with them and get them over their little cob up their butt. No pun intended.
That was cute.
Every now and then something just drops down.
Uh,
Yeah. So you've got Filthy Stinking Witch coming out here in 2021, I assume, at some point in time.
no, that one already came out.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Man, I am so behind. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
that's the one that was out in, well, I don't know what month it is anymore. That one came out in
Yeah.
August, I believe, or September. Um, but yeah, I have Poor Little Witch Girl is coming out, and the fourth one, I cannot think of the name of it. Um, yeah. But no, Filthy Stinking Witch should already be out. It was
Really?
out, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there it
That's the one that,
is.
yeah.
Sure. Okay, never mind. That's the other nice thing about this podcast is I do not cut out my mistakes because I make them often.
Well, and I mean, it's fun. It's interesting. We all make mistakes.
Really? I thought it was just me.
You're not
Well,
that special.
no, I'm not. But you are. You are special. You are the author. You are the Michelle Francik author.
I am.
Actually, you're Michelle Francik, the author.
Yes, M.
Yep.
Francik, the author. Yes.
Yep. And that is actually your website is M. Francik. And Francik is spelled for anybody who's trying to write notes, but I will post all of your links here to the show notes in the YouTube video. MFRANCIK, theauthor.com. That's your website?
Yep.
Good. Did I screw it up?
Nope, I think you did good.
Oh, thank you. Awesome. So when's your next anthology? What do you have? The Christmas anthology coming out?
You know what? I'm not sure. I think we're going to wait and see what happens here in a couple of weeks, how things go, because, with the election and everything right now is so crazy and
Wait,
stressful.
what election?
So after that, we might do a Christmas anthology. We might do
Is that just a California thing, or is that?
Don't get me started, okay? But yeah, so we might do something that's like, we're ready for 2021. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we kind of need to see how people are feeling here in a few weeks and see what happens, and then go from there. But we'll definitely have another one, like I said, either a Christmas one or a like New Year's, because I think we're all ready for 2020 to end.
It can happen any day now, but it's probably.
We don't want it to end that way. We want to go into 2021.
It's been such a burning shitball the way it's been so far. I can't imagine it ending any other way than a zombie apocalypse. Whoa, you cut out there.
Oh, really?
Yep.
You got me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it might be a relief to, have a zombie apocalypse. As you live in California, so I mean, we've had all the fires and everything, so our state has literally been burning.
Yes.
So I mean, we've had a lot of earthquakes, and it's just been insane. So I don't know, because there's a part of me that really wants to let our authors, this group of authors and new ones that want to join us, please join us. Hopefully you'll post my link for the challenge interest page too, so people can sign up if they're interested in the challenge.
Yeah.
But I really want to do, I just don't know. I don't.
You cut out again. Hang on.
Okay.
Say something.
Is it just me?
Yeah.
You got me? Okay.
Yeah. Something's happened to your mic.
Uh-oh.
It just, when you tilt your head up, it just kind of cuts out.
Oh, maybe it's just me.
That one's 10:09. Yeah, I'll go through and cut those out.
Okay.
A little bit. So 3, 2, 1. Go back to what you were saying, please.
I don't know. What was I saying?
I don't know. Something about your authors, and you want your authors to pick.
Well, for the challenge, you had asked me about the next challenge, and there's a part of me that really wants to do a Christmas one, because that's kind of normal and happy, even though our authors won't write normal and happy, but which is part of the fun. But I also want to do something that's like just letting go of 2020. I think that's really healthy at the end of the year to go, this is what's in the past. I'm letting go of it. I'm looking forward to the next year. I think that's a really good thing to do and healthy and fun. So I'm not sure what the next one is, but we'll definitely have at least one. If I get super ambitious, we can maybe do 2, maybe do a Christmas and a New Year's. We'll see.
I think realistically, you need to rename that challenge to Christmas Apocalypse.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. I'll take that under advisement.
Yeah, you really want to blow the hell out of 2020, and everything else. Why don't we just write about the end of the earth?
Because that could be real, and I don't like that.
Oh, okay. But you're in Lake Tahoe. You're going to be unaffected. It's going to still be beautiful even in the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tourists, you'll have zombies. Whatever. Is there anything else, to that you'd like to let your readers know about, or anything coming up that you think is important in the elaborate career of Michelle Francik?
Well, I don't know. I just Black Cat Crossing is doing really well. When I looked earlier tonight, it was at 88 of the top 100
Mm-hmm.
for Amazon. We are #1 in 3 different categories. And we only had about 15 reviews that have been posted so far, but
Yeah.
I had a mention in a couple of them where people said my story
Ooh.
was their favorite. So very, very exciting.
Well, since we're social distancing about 2,000 miles, go ahead and pat yourself on the back for me.
All right.
Atta girl.
There you go. But no, it's really fun because these are much bigger names, in the book besides me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the little newbie, and so to be included in it was amazing, and then to get some recognition is very, very amazing.
Yeah, and
So,
again, the beautiful thing about it is that you're being exposed to their readership, because their
yes,
readership will go, "Oh, cool," and then here's all these other stories, but here's my favorite author, and okay, I'll brush through it, and then all of a sudden, Michelle Francik, I love her.
yeah, that's what
That's
I'm
kind of the
hoping.
way it
And
works.
I want to start working on promoting our anthologies, even the ones from the past. I want to start working on those. It's just it's you have to know what you're doing a little bit, and you have to have some money, and
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things. But yeah, we're going to keep on doing it. I want people to sign up for the challenge if they've never written before and want to check it out. Come on, you're welcome. If you're an established author and you just want to try something different, come on, you're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun, it's different. We have a good group of people, and yeah, like I said, I have
What is the link for that challenge?
um I'm not sure. Oops, sorry, that was my cat.
That's okay.
um
Is
you
your
know what
cat
he's
okay?
doing? Yeah, I don't know what he's doing, sorry. He's distracting me, but I think I
Send.
just changed it, so I don't know, but I'll give it to you to post.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And then the other thing is, like I said, I have the Black Cat Crossing introduces new characters that I'm starting a new series with.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to be Pixie's Magical Mishaps. It's
Okay.
going to be the next series. I have 4 books coming for that series, and then I have another series after that that we're working on that will be in the Blueberry Bay world of Sweet Promise Press. So I've got a lot of stuff coming up. I have contracts for these books,
Oh,
so
cool.
they will be coming out. Yeah, and then I've got some of my own things planned. I think that I have the children's book out. Um, Barnyard Fables, Shelley Lynn and the Bullies was the first one.
Yep.
And then I did the second one, but I pulled that one because it just didn't, my illustrator flaked on me. And so I went a different direction and I just wasn't happy with it. So that one isn't published, even though it was for a minute. We're going to republish that one. So yeah, and then I have some other alphabet and 1, 2, 3 type picture books that I'm working on. I just have to figure out how to distribute them.
Sure.
So lots of things, working on lots of things.
That is really cool. You
Yeah,
are a busy, busy lady.
and a full-time job on top
Yeah.
of it all.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the story for almost all of the indie authors, is that you have a job, you have a family, you have all this, and then, when midnight rolls around and you finally have some time to yourself, I think I'll write. It's not a, it's not a lavish life of, being a best-selling author or anything like that. There's a lot of time where you're burning that midnight candle and working your butt off just to make it in life, and then this is what you do in your spare time. Excuse me.
Talk to Jeff.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, thank you so much for inviting me and letting me be on here. This is fun. Thank you.
Absolutely no problem. And then when you come out with your next anthology, why don't you come back on and we'll talk about it. We'll give it we'll try and give it a little bit of lift.
All right, you gonna write me a story for it?
Yeah. What's that link again?
Come on, commit.
Oh, no, I'm not going to commit.
I know.
We'll see how things are going. I've got hopefully life is calming down a little bit to where I can get back into writing a billion words a day, but whatever. Anyway, with that, I think we're going to go ahead and call this quits.
Right.
What I'd like to do, though, is I'd like to say thank you to everybody for listening to the DIY Writer podcast. I appreciate your patronage. And I also would appreciate if you either follow, subscribe, or whatever medium, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or YouTube, just hit the subscribe button. That's how we keep this thing going, is actually showing that we have people that are interested in the crap that we do here. Anyway, thank you very much. And with that, I bid everybody adieu, and I hope you all have a great day.